benefit maximally. So, who were, who is, who evermore shall be, through this message, fit, as I have already benefited. Now, my life testimony. Before I knew the Lord proved that He was and was available for any person that would seek Him. I didn't know. I didn't have an insight. I wasn't born again. I didn't have His Spirit. But somehow, I sought Him. Somehow, I sought Him. I didn't know who I was seeking. But I knew that God exists. But that was the much. I wouldn't be able to say that God existed 100% at that time, but such a percentage. And then come this day when I was 11 years, and I was pondering in my heart. And nobody was there except my junior sister, who was 9 years. I was 11, she was 9. And we were alone in the house. And I was pondering in my mind. I was saying, what was this life about? What was this life about? You come in here, and then some live 2 years and die. Some die in their mother's wombs. Some die after 50 years and with a lot of trouble, a lot of commotion. I was pondering, I was meditating. And then, does it mean that after all this wahala, excuse me for that jargon, now then we die? After the suffering, we die. There is no place of consolation. And then we die and end up like fowls. That fowl you can slaughter and make a soup with, and make a stew with. If that was the case, life was not worth it. I didn't want to know. He who word was seeing me. He was seeing me. And then, but I didn't know. And then I began to cry. He who would satisfy the longing soul. Took note of that. He that will satisfy the longing soul. Took note of that. You remember that He said in His word, when the needy, when he that is needy is searching, and then searching, and heart has been stretched to breaking point, as it were, now the Lord will show up. That is exactly what happened, and we have that in His word. And that's what happened in that day. And that day passed. I didn't realize that something took place. But something took place, and how do I know? How I came to know is that in the course of time, I quest, wanting to know that thing that burdened me, wanting to know that God, and wanting to serve Him. And as a result of the fact that his eyes run to and fro in the whole earth to show Himself strong, on the behalf of them whose heart is perfect toward Him, my heart was perfect toward Him at that point in time, because I was seeking Him, and the quest was much. And then He showed up. He that was observing all those things. And then He showed up. And then how did it happen? How it happened was that after the Nigerian Civil War, I went to Lagos. And then a friend of mine, a bosom friend, were fast friends, now became born again. Some people preached to him, and then he became born again, drastically born again, and then regenerated and changed. And then he wrote me a letter and said, Aloysius, don't you know that Jesus Christ of Nazareth was going about seeking and saving sinners? Wow. God's mechanism. Who was? Who saw the need of my life? He saw and set out a mechanism. And then on my hearing that, I went home for Christmas, so-called Christmas, 1974, and was observing him. And then I was observing and saw that what he said was true. He was regenerated. He became a different person. Oh my God. God who was, who had prayers. The prayer that I made was the prayer of the sinner. I didn't even confess it. I just made a prayer in accordance with the desire in my heart. I said, "Oh Lord, what you did for my friend," I called his name, "do for me." 12 words. 12 words only. He that willed, and who was watching, who was observing the whole universe. He that willed and was ready, ready to act, ready to give. You will seek me, and you will find me when you shall search for me with all your heart.